Hello, everyone. Well, actually, there's literally no one in there right now.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't like it when I have the sniffles, you're going to have a field day with this one, because I got a little bit of a cold, but I'll do my best not to be annoying with it.
Oh, no.
1 second. And we're good.
You know, that's actually kind of appropriate, considering the movie we just watched. That
This
you
movie
just
was
leaned,
chock-a-block with cocaine.
that you just leaned off camera. Ooh, I really hope someone showed up in the chat just at that moment. Well, that usually happens before we hit go live. Oh, it's in the picture. We gotta retake it. So we saw American Made, and I just got a message that someone's left me a voicemail. We've got the screen flipped around in here, so whenever somebody texts me or sends me anything, I can see that too. And it's not going away. Alright, whatever. No.
I fixed it.
No, you just paused the chat. I found out what happens when somebody calls.
What happens when somebody calls?
I was worried for a second. I forget what video it happened in, but somebody called and it instantly went to that, and when it cut back, the little timer we have up there that shows like how long we've been going, like reset back to 0. So I was like,
no.
I was like, okay, either everyone in the chat was saying that it still went fine. It just kind of blipped out there for a second. It turned out it was fine. I was like, is this gonna split it up into like 2 videos and I'll have to stitch them together, or did it just get rid of the first half? Well, that's a fun thing to know. It turns out nothing, but the rest of the review in my head, I was like, fuck.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. This movie is awesome.
It was a really good movie.
I'm so glad to see this Tom Cruise back.
He's just, well, first of all, he's a nut bar. So whenever he's playing a nut bar, you know it's going to be good. But, like, past that, he did an amazingly good job being a character other than Tom Cruise.
That's what I mean. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, I love action movie Tom Cruise. Like, even when, like, I love the Mission Impossible movies. Edge of Tomorrow is one of my favorite movies of that year. Like, even his action movies I get excited to see. But there has been a pretty long-ish period where pretty much most of his movies have been action movies. As great as most of them are, certainly way more hits than misses. The only one I can think, like, I even thought like the second Jack Reacher was okay. The Mummy was bad, but but other than that, like, I still get excited for his movies, for his action movies and everything. It was nice to have a Tom Cruise movie like this back, where it's not, let's see Tom Cruise do whatever outlandish stunt, like he's gonna be like scaling the side of the biggest skyscraper in the world, which again is great, but he is a great actor, and if you give him a role like this or Collateral or Magnolia, tons and tons and tons of movies, he really can sink his teeth and become whatever character he's portraying on screen.
Yeah.
And that was the case here, too. Like, you could tell that he'd probably been wanting to do this movie or a movie like this for probably a long time.
Why do you say that?
You can just kind of... because there's a reason why he's been doing a lot of action movies. One, he's good at it, and he certainly seems to be a thrill seeker in doing a lot of the stunts he does. He's a great stuntman. He's... all of the amazing stunts he puts in his movies, he's great at, and he excels at it. But those are the movies of his that make the most money. It's usually not a movie like this. And like, it seems like the last couple of times when there was a more serious movie with him in it, it didn't do quite like Lions for Lambs or something like that. So movies like the Mission Impossible movies and things like that are certainly a safe bet when it comes to him at the box office, domestically and certainly internationally. But he is a great actor, and you can tell how much he loves doing movies like Collateral, like Magnolia, and movies like that. And in this, I think part of why his performance is so great in this is that you could tell he's probably been wanting to do a more serious role for a while.
He does seem to be having fun, and he's acting his little heart out without chewing the scenery, which is, I think, that's something that, as big a personality as Tom Cruise has, is still something that he excels at.
Yeah.
But for me, I think that the appeal of the movie, in addition to Tom Cruise's Tom Cruisiness was that it was just, even though it was based on a true story, they did a really good job of keeping the flow engaging, if that makes sense.
Oh, this movie's excellently edited.
It's not like here are a series of things that happen.
Yeah.
It's definitely got like a plot and a climax and like a denouement or whatever.
And even this kind of movie too. Like there's been a couple of movies out recently that sort of show a similar thing where it's someone gets in over their heads, one thing leads to another, and gun trading and money laundering and all of that. And the last couple of War Dogs was like okay, but Gold with Matthew McConaughey wasn't very good. This one takes something. This movie takes a kind of movie that has been made a lot, certainly, this kind of film, but with its editing, with its characters, with the musical score and the humor as well.
Yeah, this movie had some really, really funny spots.
It's very funny. It makes it feel incredibly fresh. And what I like about Tom Cruise in here is, yeah, you're right, he is a larger-than-life personality, Tom Cruise is, and that's putting it lightly. Which is why he's so great in his action movies. He does these insane stunts and does great at it, but also he's charismatic as fuck. He can carry an action movie. And he's so great in here because the outlandish stuff about this movie wouldn't be from Tom Cruise acting over the top or anything like that. It's from this story.
Yes. Because this story is insane.
It's crazy.
I'm not like, you say Iron Contra at me and I'm like, oh yes, I know of it.
Sure.
But I'm not like familiar even remotely with the specifics. I just know like, oh, did you know the CIA used to sell drugs to people in Nicaragua? But this is actually like, you're following the guy that they hired to do that. And also the CIA that was his liaison, Domhnall Gleeson, is that his name?
That guy is so good in this.
Deus Ex guy.
Domhnall Gleeson, is that it? Yeah, that guy, yeah. He's great. Like, he gets laughs out of this movie by just...
He's a straight man.
Yeah, by being really deadpan as fuck, honestly.
So this bag is mine? What bag?
What bag? Who's Schaefer? All right.
Just the fact that he was able to act through that ridiculous 70s haircut and beard.
He still pulled it off, honestly,
yeah.
I thought.
Well, plus he had this sort of like very 1970s coked out gleefulness to his character. So even though he's like a straight man in the CIA, every once in a while like, fuck yeah, let's get this plane in here.
Like, I wasn't terribly familiar with the guy Barry Seal going into this. I mean, I know the Iran Contra affair, but Barry Seal himself, not really. I mean, I knew how his story ends. But I did, but like, so watching the progression of all of this insane shit in this movie, because it just starts out like, you get the sense he's a thrill seeker because he's flying his little plane and he takes the autopilot off. He's like, wee, buzz the tower. On a TWA commercial flight. He's like, he just needs like a bit of an adrenaline rush, so he just creates some turbulence. So you get that sense about this guy. So when he's approached by the CIA to, hey, will you take pictures of these communist bases and things like that, he's like, Sandinistas. I love how it got really like Maverick-y from Top Gun in a couple of scenes where he's like flying too close to the guy and he's like, oh damn it, Maverick. And there's cannon. And again, he's flying over these like bases where they're shooting at him. This is like the first 10 minutes of the movie, by the way, where they're just shooting at him, and he's like, all right, this is what I signed up for. Yeah, it was like they put like a camera on the bottom of his plane. They're like, okay, so fly over and get some shots. And here's the little druggy guys, and he's just like, and then one thing leads to another, and he's working for Escobar, delivering drugs, guns, and when this movie got about a half hour, somewhere between a half hour and an hour in my head, I was like, I have a feeling this is going to lead to the Iran Contra affair. Would you like I think I was the first person in the audience to notice, and I was so proud of myself, but there's a scene where he's like
one thing leads to another, and he's like sitting in the White House waiting to meet with the president, and then like this guy comes out and sits down next to him. He's like, "Oh, you're flying a plane. I like to fly a plane." It's like, "Oh my god, that's W."
You did catch that before. Yeah, like
they W'd the shit. They gave him like the ears, and he was kind of like yeah, fly boy.
That was such a random scene. It was kind of funny. Like, I'll give it that. And the guy did look like a young George W. Bush. He did.
Whoever that was, bless him, because he was in the movie for like 30 seconds, but he pulled it off flawlessly.
The movie has a lot of really funny parts in it like that. Like, when he starts getting this rush from doing all these deals, and it's cutting to like sex montages with him and his wife, and one of it's when he's flying a plane, and it appears to go upside down at one point. So everything just starts shooting up in the air.
My impression of that scene is that like, because he was like flying the plane and she's like on his lap bouncing, and I think that he must have like lost control and they went in free fall because the whole back of the plane was full of Christmas presents and it was like up to the ceiling and then poof.
Throughout,
she seemed to enjoy it.
Oh yeah. Throughout a lot of it, like, whenever he was making these decisions about working for Escobar and then working for this organization and that organization, like, it made sense to me because I was like, what else is he gonna do in these situations? Like,
it was never like a God and country decision. It was like, well, I need money, and you've got giant bags of it that you're offering me, so let's give this a shot.
Yeah, and he was good at what he did, certainly, but like, when Escobar and his crew are approaching him and saying, "We want you to do this for us," him doing it didn't so much seem like a dumb decision or anything like that, but more so like
a dumb decision. But he was
at the same
dumb guy, like a dumb clever guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he could easily get himself out of a situation. Like he could easily think on his feet. You see this in the trailer where he lands the plane in the middle of that neighborhood, but also, what else was he gonna do? Tell this drug cartel no? I mean, like,
there's a point too where they're like, okay, so we need you to like, you get $2,000 per kilo of cocaine, and we need you to like take off from here and land in Miami. And he's like, well, this runway's not long enough. And they're like, do it. But so like, even in that sort of daredevil-y moment where he's like, okay, I've got to take off with this plane just loaded to the gills with this runway that's way, way, way too short, I still like this is the amount of cocaine that I'll take. I'm not taking this fat guy you're trying to load me up with.
That was funny.
We're not dropping it off in Miami. I'm gonna just like toss it out the window into the swamps of Louisiana, and you can just like take a freaking fan boat out and pick it up. So it was like, that's sort of like, you're an idiot, but this is working because you're also quick on your feet.
Yeah. And there's a reason why they want him to do all this stuff, which is that he's good at what he does. He's a good pilot. And that was a funny sequence because it cuts to them clearly taking bets
on whether he was going to survive.
Yeah, whether he was going to...
I did notice, too, that I think it was Pablo Escobar gave him the necklace, like, oh, Jesus will protect you. And went back, and he was obviously the one betting that he was going to die.
Yeah. And it would have been funny if the plane, because it shows like a previous plane crashed, like that I guess it was some poor guy that they hired beforehand and crashed in the woods. It would have been funny if it was like that down drug plane from Lost.
I was thinking, like priests. Where's Mr. Echo?
Mr. Echo's group with his heroin.
Just Charlie out there just trying to climb the tree.
That wasn't in the 80s. That was way before they went back in time to the 70s.
God damn it. I need to rewatch Lost. It probably hasn't aged well, but I enjoyed it at the time.
I did too. No clue how it is on a repeat viewing.
Probably amazing.
Oh, yeah.
We should just replay that video game.
Of Lost Via Domos?
Yeah, Lost Via Domos. Over here! By the banyan trees.
In that game, you can literally just stand there and watch Michael scream, "Whoa!" month for as long as you want, because he'll keep doing it on repeat.
That's the game where you wander out into the beach and like there's plane bits and there's like this big engine just kind of sitting there in the sand.
I forgot about that.
Like, if you walk up to it too close, you just get sucked in and blown out the other end, and the game is over.
We figured that out because we were like, I wonder what would happen if we do this. Walk right through.
Turns out death. Immediate and irrevocable death.
That was hilarious.
That kind of sets the scene for how this game is gonna go.
I think Brian said it's like the only game he's played where just simply beating the game gave him every trophy the game had to offer or something like that. Like,
oh my god, you made it to the end?
Exactly.
Here's a pile of money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, you walked 5 feet. Here's another trophy.
There's like scenes where you had to do like photography. Was it Desmond?
Yeah, oh god, I don't.
That's such a weird game.
You could just, and whenever it was flashing back, you could just see random characters standing there. So we would be in like, I think like a mall or something, or some giant office building, and just in the background on like the second floor, you would just see Hurley standing there.
Just like doom 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 doom. That's right, because they made up a new character that you were playing as in Via Domus.
That photographer.
And apparently he ran into everyone on Lost at least 5 times.
Yeah, which kind of happened on the show. It's like, oh, there's Jack in the background because the scene takes place in a hospital. Sure. No, I highly recommend this. This movie was a lot of fun, and it's from Doug Liman directed it, who directed Edge of Tomorrow, which is a great recent Tom Cruise movie. Yeah, I had a blast with this. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining.
It was a lot of fun.
To end.
Tom Cruise was amazing. I liked the lady who played his little wife, and she looked kind of like Jessica Simpson, but she was a good little actress. There's this one scene at the very beginning of the movie where he's like coming home from flying the TWA, and she's like, ooh, so she's like putting away all the kids' stuff and like putting on her little hoochie peignoir.
Yeah.
And he comes home and just like falls asleep, and she's like, whap whap, and that just gonna give me a chuckle.
Yeah, that was funny. I liked a little bit their lines together. Him like, do you trust me? Do you trust me?
Fuck no.
Fuck no. No, go see this. And
you'll learn something.
Yeah.
Now I know so much about the Contra affair.
This might be the best thing you could go see this weekend. I don't know. I haven't seen Flatliners yet.
I bet that movie's so good.
Yeah. This movie, it's 80s, it's Tom Cruise, it's cocaine, it's Escobar, it's drug and gun running. It's got everything. This movie's wildly entertaining.
Pretty much anything where you're going to be wearing period costumes, I will probably enjoy it. But this I enjoyed on the virtue of the plot and the actors as well.
Same. Should we do trailers?
Sure. Death Wish.
Fuck, Jesus Christ.
I was like, so this is like a remake of Death Wish?
Oh,
and then the credits is like, Death Wish, remake of the 1974 movie Death Wish.
That is in the loosest of fucking terms. This movie... Now, I am kind of looking forward to this because I do like vigilante movies. But
this one seems to got a little bit of a...
No, this isn't Death Wish. This movie is if they remade Exterminator 2 and called it Death Wish. This is way more in keeping with the sequels to Death Wish than it is the first one.
At first, because I've never seen the first one. Have I? No, I haven't. Probably. But Bruce Willis shows up in a hoodie, and I know that they've been talking about doing like a sequel to Unbreakable, so at first I thought maybe that was it. Is. And then he started shooting fucking everyone, and I'm like, well, probably not, but let's wait and see.
He lost his powers, now he's just shooting everybody.
He's got the power of gun having.
Calling this movie Death Wish is fucking ridiculous.
He does seem to have a death wish, so in that sense it is accurate.
Now, if they were honest and just said it was a remake of Death Wish 5, then I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah. But like I said, I do like vigilante movies, so let's see another genre that I'm sure Eli Roth will fuck up.
If this preview had ended with brought to you by the NRA, I would not have been a whit surprised.
If you want to see something that is more akin to Death Wish, and the book this is based on is a sequel to Death Wish. Kevin Bacon did a movie some years ago that was a James Wan movie called Death Sentence, which is way more in tone with Death Wish than this movie looks. But again, I mean, it might be fun, because I do like movies like the Exterminator movies and Vigilante and stuff like that, so I still may kind of get a kick out of this movie, but this is...
Because, like, usually a vigilante movie, there's just, there's bullets flying and everyone's just pulling guns out of fucking everywhere. But I don't normally see them just so balls deep in proselytizing the gun having. Because it's like, I have guns. Guns is power. I'm gonna protect my family. I'm gonna do it because I have guns.
Well, when you get into some of the... more exploitation-y vigilante movies, you'll have that. Like,
okay.
the Exterminator has a part...
I do like it when they explain what they're doing while they're doing it.
The Exterminator... I really do like... vigilante movies are fun. Like, the Exterminator's got a part in it where he's putting, like, mercury or poison in his bullets, just in case he hits them in the leg, they can still die.
That's using the old noodle.
Exactly.
It's like in the Underworld, where like the bullets are full of holy water, so that you shoot them, and then it explodes holy water, and then it's vampire be gone.
It's like, that's a little overkill to kill that corrupt senator, Robert Ginty.
Take him to the bank, Senator. The blood bank. The Commuter?
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it's like some broad is like... there's some comic book, I think it's called 100 Bullets, where it's like the person like gets approached by someone with a suitcase, like, here's a suitcase, it's got a gun and some bullets and also some money, and if you shoot this person, you get the money. And it seemed like the same general concept, but then it was just Liam Neeson staggering up and down a train car for the entire preview.
It looks like Non-Stop, but on a train. And you know what? I like Non-Stop. This is from the same director. Why not put it on a train? I like a good Liam Neeson action thriller, and Taken 3 was a piece of shit, so maybe this one will be better.
Who have they got left to take at Taken 3?
No one got taken in that movie, except for the editor, apparently. But, God, that was a hard to follow mess of a fucking movie. Actually, I take it back. Someone did get taken, and it is his ex-wife's life. It was a revenge movie.
Okay, so we got Suburbicon next, which I feel like we've talked about.
Yeah, because I've gotten this trailer in front of every movie I've seen for the last 2 months. I
saw this trailer, I was excited about it. Now I'm not so much.
I am. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun, but I'm burnt out on this trailer because it has been at everything that I've gone to go see.
All the Money in the World.
Oh, that looked interesting. The Ridley
that?
Scott one with the kid who's kidnapped and Kevin Spacey.
Right. It's the fucking oil magnate.
Yeah. And it was Mark Wahlberg is in it.
Michelle Williams.
Yes, Michelle Williams, that's it.
And then Kevin Spacey plays like the paterfamilias, and like, so Michelle Williams, who married into the family, her son gets taken.
Speaking of.
And they like get some money from, Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey's like, no. Yeah. And that's the movie, but like they hire Mark Wahlberg to try to find the kid on the cheap. It does not look like it's going to end well. Looked
more tonally like something like Prisoners, as opposed to looking like Ransom or something like that.
Yeah.
That was a really well done trailer. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I love that song anyway. That was
She's Not There?
No, it was The Season for Loving.
Oh, yeah. Time of the Season.
Yes. The Mountain Between Us.
That looks lame.
That looks so boring.
That looks so lame.
I fell asleep halfway through that trailer, and then I woke up and then I fell asleep again.
I've seen that trailer a lot too, and I've seen a lot of movies that are the same thing, where it's the plane crashes in the mountains and then they got to survive. This one, and I've seen some that are great and some that are just kind of sucky. This one just looks like so forgettable. This looks like, I don't know, I'm just going by the trailer, of course, but it looks like, why are you making this? This looks, I can easily think back to recent movies that have been way better, like The Grey with Liam Neeson or something like that. This looks...
Wolf Puncher.
Yeah. This just looks like one of those movies, and here you go.
There's a scene in the preview where she's like way the fuck across the field, and he's like over here in the wood line, and she falls down through the ice. There's no way he'd be able to rescue her. So either the preview shows us that this woman dies and how she dies, or this movie's not even a little bit realistic.
She probably has a knife or something and just cuts her way through the ice.
The current, man, the current. Anyway. Lame. Disbelieve. Father figures. That looked kind of funny.
Oh,
it's like Mamma Mia, but sort of backwards.
I want to hear the phone call that I'm sure existed, in which Vince Vaughn said he was too busy to be in this movie.
Because it was, not Chris Ed
Helms.
Ed Helms and Owen Wilson are like the children of Glenn Close, and she has no idea who their fathers are, and they've got to be two different fathers, right?
I guess. I don't know.
Like maybe they're twins, like in Dirty Work, where it's like they look nothing like each other, but so they just kind of like go off across the country to start interviewing people that have banged their mother. It includes like Terry Bradshaw.
Oh, so it'll be failure to launch
Christopher
good.
Walken. There were some parts of the preview that made me laugh, though, so maybe it'll be good.
Maybe. I don't know. That looks like, I don't know, that looks really bad.
There's a part of Christopher Walken's like, oh no, I might have children, and just takes off running, and they shoot him in the ass with like a tranquilizer gun.
It looked like four Christmases if you'd never met the families before.
Okay, I can see that. And then, thank you for your service. Miles Teller has PTSD.
Yeah, the Miles. I've gotten that trailer a bunch, so I went out to use the restroom during that trailer.
Did you get back in time for The Snowman?
I did. I'm looking forward to The Snowman. Why do they call him the Snowman Killer? Is he going around?
Because he kills him and he puts him in a snowman.
But that suggests...
And then also he writes letters to the police with a drawing of a snowman.
That suggests that he's going around killing snowmen.
I don't think so. That would be the Snowman Killer. He's just the snowman.
Well, maybe that's why they titled the movie The Snowman.
So maybe it's a living snowman, like in Jack Frost.
I hope to God
and
that's
he's just
what it is.
He's killing the women, putting their heads into his head, and being like, and then waiting for the cops to leave, and then shuffling away across the snow.
I hope so much that that's what this movie is. That it is a fucking gritty remake of that Jack Frost movie, or it turns out that the killer is when Russell Crowe turned into a snowman at the end of Winter's Tale.
Yes! I completely forgot that happened, and I've seen that movie so many times.
Now that, yes, I'm looking forward to that. Like, it looks like it's harkening back to when like every other month we had a movie like Kiss the Girls.
Where she's just brutally murdering women, and then like a loose plot kind of piled up around it.
Yeah, like there was like The Bone Collector and Seven, of course, but like Seven's why we got most of these movies. the Taking Lives, that one with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. They all blend together in my head.
Yeah, there was a sequel to Kiss the Girls. Along Came a Spider or something like that. Oh, well, Alex Cross also.
I'm trying to think of examples in my head, but all I'm coming up with are episodes of Law & Order Criminal Intent, because that seems to be sort of a running theme in that show.
It's Michael Fassbender hunting a snowman killer, so I'm down.
Just standing in the snow like, where are you?
Where are you, you son of a bitch?
They had to go with the Snowman Killer because the name, like, the killer who chops their leg into 3 pieces on the one side and 2 pieces on the other side was just a little bit too wordy for newspapers.
I've seen that killer. Wasn't that the ice truck killer and Dexter? I like how they gave us a bunch of really long titles for trailers.
Yeah, I had to do some indentation a little bit.
Yeah, I thought about that when Thank You for Your Service popped up. I'm like, oh, now they're just fucking over. The mountain between us.
We got quite a, like, it gets easier the further down my arm we get, because I got more real estate.
Thank God we weren't doing this when the Englishman who went up a hill but came down a mountain came out. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Other arm. Don't trust Joey Pantaleone.
Alright, well, I'll be back tomorrow to see Flatliners, because they didn't give it this isn't one of those situations where it's just like, oh, timings didn't work out, so I couldn't see both movies. No, they just straight up didn't give a preview screening for Flatliners.
I bet it's gonna be so good, you guys.
Like, fucking Friend Request got a preview screening last week.
I'm not gonna be at Flatliners tomorrow, but I'm probably going to check out 50 Shades Freed from the library.
Oh.
So I can live tweet it, because that piece of shit's coming out next February.
Yes, it is.
And I need to get it out of the way. Have you seen the preview for it yet?
Yeah, I did.
I haven't yet. It's on YouTube. I'm working my way up to it.
Fool me 3 times trailer. You can't fool me into tricking me that something's gonna happen in this.
Something's gotta happen is the third one. They're
Nothing
out
will
of
happen.
shades to do.
Nothing is gonna happen.
Judging from the first 2 movies, this movie is, I'm betting, going to involve them going to a party at his parents' house, and she's just wearing like 2 pasties and a length of rope.
Isn't that Varsity Blues?
Yeah, she's just going to wear like some fucking shaving cream nipples. And he's acting like, what? This is how I always go to parties.
Well, at least it's not 50 Shades Freed Part 1 in terms of the movies.
God, no.
Fuck that.
It's very important we get all the plot points from the 50 Shades books into these movies. Who's directing the third one?
Oh god, I don't know. I don't even know who directed the first 2.
Because the first one was directed by some lady, and she actually did a fair to middling job considering the subject matter. The second one was directed by someone who's bound and determined to follow the book to the letter, much to its detriment. So I'm curious to see who's directing the third one, to see which direction they'll end up taking with it.
With these movies, it doesn't matter. It's like when they would sign someone of prominence to direct a Twilight movie. Like, why? Like, there's really only so much you can do with these ingredients.
You say that, but the fucking Breaking Dawn Part 1 you guys were all enthusiastic about. No, Part 2. Where it was just like Michael Sheen just cackling in the snow.
Because at least that had batshit stuff from its source material. Like, it wasn't like, wow, man, this director actually turned this into something good. Like, no, like it was...
He made the material spark.
Yeah. It worked because it had significantly more Michael Sheen in it.
Which unfortunately did not hold true for the Reese Witherspoon movie that we watched.
Mm-mm.
So, we're done?
I think so. Thanks a bunch, everyone in the chat. I'll be back tomorrow for Flatliners. See you then.
Bye, guys.